Hey guys, it's Ruby with Oofy Scraps, and today I am going to dive into sharing the process in putting together my 2024 Thanksgiving Thankful For album. If this is your first time coming across one of these videos of mine, I will link up in the cards the full playlist, but essentially every year since 2014, I have documented my family's Thanksgiving dinner. Essentially, I take photos all night of everyone eating, of the room, of the group, etc. And everyone writes down what they're thankful for on a little place card. The page I'm working on right now, you can see those little ceramic pumpkins each have a little card stuck in them. Those are the cards I used for this Thanksgiving dinner in 2024. And essentially, everyone writes what they're thankful for. I pair that with photos of them throughout the night. I put together a scrapbook that's literally just of Thanksgiving dinner. So people arriving, cooking, cleaning, setting the table, people enjoying dinner, after dinner, etc. And I've done this since 2014, which in 2014 I was a teenager, so the scrapbooks have really come a long way. And now they're 6x8 albums that I'm super, super proud of. This is my fourth year doing it in a 6x8, and it's definitely the way to go for me. It's a very manageable size. Prior to that, I did an 8x8, a 9x12, or an 8x10 maybe, and then a bunch of 12x12s. But those are not documented on YouTube at all. They're just from when I was in high school and college and etc. But anyways, it's a super special tradition. It's my favorite family tradition that we have. Thanksgiving is the only holiday that we consistently do the exact same thing every year, which is just my parents host. We go to my parents' house for Thanksgiving dinner. And actually now we have a new addition to that tradition in the last 4 years is we don't celebrate Thanksgiving on Thursday. I have a ton of brothers. I have 5 brothers, and we're all adults. I have one brother that's younger than me, but just by a year. And we all obviously none of us live with our parents. Some of us live in different towns, different states, and, have jobs and girlfriends and boyfriends and things like that. So the holiday season's a little bit crazy. And my mom realized that if she has Thanksgiving on Thursday, when it is, that a lot of people might be missing. But now she's moved it from Thursday to Wednesday, and now it's all the way to Tuesday. And because of that, everyone's available. Nobody is busy on the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, at least in the evening for dinner time. And so it's great because on top of just our family, all my brothers and I, we get, our friends who are in town, or my cousins come, our boyfriends and girlfriends can come. And it's just really awesome. Even though I think my mom's a little bit bummed, she's like, I have to be the one to adjust and not anyone else. But I think it really works out because as you get older and people get married and have kids, dividing up holidays is a super normal thing. So her having it on Tuesday kind of guarantees that she gets everybody. And it is fun because we often get, my best friend Olivia was here this year. You'll see photos of her. And she obviously has her own family. But because it was Tuesday, she could come to ours too, which was super fun. So anyways, I start off every year pretty much with a full page photo of the table. And this is the same. The table is very similar almost every year, but we sometimes add different touches, and you can see right there, those little ceramic pumpkins have little cards stuck in them. Those are the Thankful For cards that I did for 2024, and I'll be using them again in 2025. But there's an example of one to the right as well. But essentially, everyone writes what they're thankful for. I put it in the album. Everybody knows that I'm doing this, and if you're new to our family Thanksgiving, we always have a couple newbies each year. They figure it out really quickly, and that I'm going to follow everyone around taking photos, and that anything you write on the card will be put in the album. So people are not putting their deepest, darkest secrets, and it's totally fine. So anyways, I'm just getting started on the process. When it comes to products, this is definitely a tricky thing that I've really mastered over the years. There is not a ton of Thanksgiving themed product. There's not even a huge amount of fall themed product that I personally enjoy. I will say one thing that has been a saving grace is Allie Edwards' Story by the Month kits. She does a monthly subscription, and I always try and subscribe for November only, and then I cancel it because I personally do not need monthly themed scrapbook content product except for in November. Although this year I accidentally forgot to subscribe, so I'm getting the December kit too, but that's okay because I'll probably be able to use stuff like that for December daily, but it is what it is. Anyways, that kit is $20, and it has a lot of really unique, pretty, cute stuff. I mean, I can buy Thanksgiving themed stuff on scrapbook.com if it's available, but often it's not the cutest, or it's not my style. So that being said, I do have that little washi on the bottom right there is Simple Stories. from some collection, maybe like cider donuts or something, which was just a fall themed collection. So I will just get fall themed stuff a lot, but it's not, not the biggest amount of options. Like compared to December Daily, for example, there's a million things. Every collection from every company is, something you could use. So I've spent a lot of time curating my Thanksgiving stuff. And last year I actually did a ton on my Cricut to custom make some embellishments and ephemera things that I could include. So anyways, I do keep this book pretty simple. I let the story be the photos and the words from the Thankful For cards. Again, it's also really cool that I get to literally include so many people's voices in my albums because it's every single person writing what they're thankful for. And, my cousins who are now, like, the youngest one is 17, maybe. He might be 16, actually. I think he's 16. Or maybe he just turned 17. I can't remember. But anyways, he was like little, like so teeny tiny when we started doing this, over 10 years ago. And so seeing them kind of grow up and go from writing like, I'm thankful for, rocket ships and Santa Claus. And now they're like my friends and my soccer team and whatever. And then also like my brothers and like my grandpa's in one year where he wrote what he was thankful for. And like my grandpa's passed away now. So it's like really special to have some physical piece of his handwriting that's also like viewed by our family every year. And that's the other thing about this is the album that the most people see in my real life because I put them all out on display. We have like this credenza in our like dining room area of our kitchen, and I place all of the past scrapbooks out so people can kind of look through them throughout the night if they want to. And anyone who's new to Thanksgiving, like it's their first year, they can look and get kind of an idea of what the deal is. And yeah, I will say, even though we've done this so many years, it is like pulling teeth to get people to really do it the correct way. It is very simple, and I have learned over the years of like what are key things to make it successful for me. And one of those things is only leaving out a certain kind of pen. I've had people write in blue ink, and that really just is not the look I'm going for. And then also depending on the paper style and like background color of my Thankful For cards, I will change the pen from like an inky ballpoint to like a gel pen to whatever it is, Also telling people to write their names because I don't know every single person's handwriting by heart, and some people's thankful fors are really simple and like relevant to a lot of people, like thankful for friends and family. Totally fine to put that, but like who are you? So there's like some process of elimination I end up doing at the end of each Thanksgiving to try and figure out who the heck wrote what. But I also would love for them to write who they are on the front because not only then do I know, but when you're looking at the album and there's a picture of, my three brothers together and there's one Thankful For card, it's like, well, who wrote this? So that's a little tricky. And then also making sure everyone actually writes one, they end up getting put in the little box at the end of the night so I don't lose them, because if you leave it on the table, it might get accidentally scooped up. So here's all my crazy backstory. All that being said, I am working on right now a little like 4x8 insert kind of thing that I'm just putting because my mom's Thankful For card was pretty large and I wasn't sure how to incorporate it on the picture I wanted to use. So I made a little like insert that I could stick it into that vellum pocket. Is it Coco and Daisy that's the brand that's from? That sounds kind of right. I've been trying to think of the name of this brand. It was a scrapbooking brand that was kind of niche, but they went out of business a couple years back. And those little vellum pockets that you literally can't even see right now, it was on the page before, like a brown polka dot vellum. That's where I got that pocket from, and I stuck her Thankful For card in it. But on the other side, I didn't know what to put, so I just kind of made a filler decoration page with that cute little November tag, and that is from the Alley Kit from 2024 as well. And now I am creating a little bit of embellishment for this next page. Again, I do a lot of full page photos. I have learned over the years too that like a combination of action shots of people doing things, staged, posed photos, group photos, etc. kind of helps make the album more interesting, especially for me to work on because it is a very redundant project. A lot of the same people, the same location. It's one day of content. It's not like a trip where you have multiple days, trying to make it feel like a story. And I do the photos mostly chronological, not exactly like cutthroat chronological, but somewhat chronological so it feels like a story of the night. But anyways, I have also learned that I don't need to super embellish everything because this is not really a scrapbook for the sake of scrapbooking. It's a scrapbook for my family's memories. And so making it more about the photo and then just adding a little bit of embellishment to make it feel like, fun to look at. I don't embellish this as much as, like, for example, December Daily is super, super crafty. Also, this is just like a big project I do every year, and there's so many photos that I end up going through, and it's just kind of a lot of work. So I try and make it easy on myself by keeping it pretty simple. I repeat a lot of the similar ideas. I will add just like a little bit of embellishment to these full page photos, something kind of anchoring the top or the bottom typically. So I'm going through a lot of ephemera. Again, that's more from Allie as well, but there is a lot of stuff from scrapbook.com. And I also get a lot of my paper. Sorry if you hear the clickety clacketing. That's my dog walking beside me. I get a lot of paper from Michaels randomly. I don't buy a lot of Michaels photo paper or scrapbook paper, but they do come out with fall stuff really consistently. And I can get it for very cheap, especially just like simple patterns that I can cut stuff out of on my Cricut. So it does come in handy. But right here, I'm creating like kind of an anchoring thing like I was telling you about. This is going to anchor just some embellishments at the top of this photo. So in the photo is my cousin Dante, who's on his computer, my boyfriend Steven, and my brother Max just sitting at this little game table hanging out and talking before dinner, like while everyone else is cooking or whatever else they're doing. And so I'm going to use some washi to anchor it down, and then I have these Allie Edwards like long paper phrase stickers, and I cut this one into like a little pennant so that it had a little bit more interest, and then just did some embellishments on top of that. And again, because I am super limited on product, one of the benefits of that is there's a lot of repetition over the years where the albums have, that same washi tape over multiple albums, or, this little phrase word thing is going to be in this album, but there's more of those left that could show up in the next album. And so it does kind of give them a bit of continuity, especially as they all sit on the credenza together and people look through them, and it's really fun. Also, as a scrapbooker, obviously I scrapbook because I love it and I like the process and I also like the product. But it is fun when you get to share that with people, especially without like asking them to look. People really enjoy looking because it is like it's our whole family's memories. And, if someone has a new girlfriend and they get to like look back at all the years to see pictures of my brothers from high school or whatever, it's really fun. And it's really rewarding for me because I do put a lot of time and effort into all my scrapbooks. And one of the reasons I make YouTube videos is to get to share them with other people who are excited and get excited about scrapbooks. But it's super fun when my family and my real life people show interest and stuff. So another thing I do too with the Thankful For cards is they do get pretty redundant in terms of embellishing and working with them. So I will do like a little hidden pocket. So right here, I'm just going to slice into this photo to create a pullout for Steven's Thankful For card because I just, first of all, it was pink. It didn't really go with the picture that I ended up picking, the like pinkish color. And second of all, I didn't really have a place to put it that wouldn't have taken away from the photo. So a little hidden journaling pocket is always a great option. Anyways, I really hope that this video is landing to you in the month of November. I am working on getting these posted in November so that my goal, which is just to convince more people to do this project. Basically, it's such a fun project. It's really easy compared to a lot of scrapbook projects. You can go as simple as you want, and it doesn't require you to do like a month, a week, a project. Like if you're on vacation, documenting is like time consuming and hard and whatever. Even if you're like the main cook or person in your family who kind of makes Thanksgiving happen, assigning a guest to be the photo taker for the night, like I feel like if you go to someone else's Thanksgiving who's hosting, people are always trying to figure out how they can help the host, and sometimes that's not as easy, not wanting everyone in the kitchen at the same time is kind of a thing. So giving, if you have like a 20-something-year-old kid in your family who's good with their phone. I take every single photo on my iPhone, so it's really not that deep. And then if you're the scrapbooker, you don't have to worry about taking photos, and also there'll be photos taken of you, which is a huge plus. And you could also do like everyone in the family does it, and there's like a shared, photo drive after that everyone puts all the photos on. Then you can get photos from different people's perspectives and stuff like that. And really, it's just such a fun project. I started going to Steven's parents' Thanksgiving. I've gone to like 2 or 3 times because now that we do it on Tuesday, we can go to theirs on Thursday. And I made mini cinch albums for them when they've hosted Thanksgiving. And that is really, really easy. I can't remember if I've ever shown one of those albums on here, but maybe I'll try and flip through one of those at one point. It won't be before Thanksgiving though, because I'm not going to be seeing them before Thanksgiving, but you can go as crafty as you want. You can be really simple. You could just do like all 4x6 or all 3x4 and just stick photos in pockets and make your thankful for cards the same size, like 3x4s. And then, we keep it really simple. But obviously I enjoy the craftiness of this. Even though this is not my most crafty project, I do still enjoy, scrapbooking is one of my favorite processes. And you can see that this video is like less than 20 minutes. I get through a huge chunk of this album because it's really as simple as adding, 1 or 2 stickers or embellishments on a page, figuring out a way to incorporate the thankful for card, and then moving on. And obviously, because I have, like I've said 1,000 times, limited supplies, that helps too, because, there's not as many choices to make. There's not as many choices to choose from. But I do really, really enjoy, I've said this 1,000 times, this album. It's so fun. And since like 2021, my scrapbooking style, I think, has really come into its own a little bit more. And those albums are my favorite to look back on because they're obviously all the beautiful memories, but within the style that I feel most confident in. One thing that is new is this ribbon. I got a bunch of ribbon from Joann before they closed, as well as Michael's, because I have a lot of tags and tag-ish related product, and I only had a couple ribbons that were like fall enough themed colors, and then they would not be thin enough. They would be too thick for some of the tiny holes. So I did kind of get a bunch of ribbon, and I'm really happy with that because I used a ton of it in this project. One of them is this, what is it called? Not organza, maybe organza. It's like a sheer, what is that called? Like tulle almost ribbon. Maybe it is organza. I don't know. But those are great because they're thicker, but they're sheer and they're really thin. Like they're thicker like width, but they're not actually a thick material. Like the velvet ones that I just put down, like those are definitely have some thickness to them. But the like sheer toolish kind of ones are like transparent, so you can see through to the photo behind, and they're not like thick, like as thick as the velvet, if that makes sense. So those are great to use. They're really easy to stick through the little holes of the tags. What was I gonna say? I don't remember. I was just gonna say something. I had something in the top of my head, but anyways, this is an exact perfect example of, just sticking a little emblem or embellishment on, putting some ribbon through it, a couple stickers, sticking the thankful for card down, and moving on. So I really enjoy that. And then the back side of that page, I end up doing a filler. I don't know if I show that in this video. I also kind of bounce around a lot, but I think that this might be the last like full spread you guys see in this part of the process, but I will definitely have more processes, and you will see I really just crank this album out because I do, again, let the photos do the talking, and it's just such a fun project. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you are thinking of doing this year, comment down below if you have any questions or, any Thanksgiving traditions you have, and I will catch you all in the next part of the process.